Alright, so what's good, guys? So in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can build a great physique or how to get jacked without spending more than 4 to 6 hours a week in the gym. A huge misconception a lot of people have is that you have to spend all this time in the gym in order to see great results. And I'm going to tell you right now from personal experience as well as working with clients is that is not the case at all. So in this video, I'm going to share with you why that is not the case and how you can implement the gym into your current lifestyle without having it consume your entire life. So without the further ado, let's get right into it. All right, so why listen to me? I mean, I'm just some random dude on the internet, right? So I started literally from skin and bones, as you can see there on the left. Literally like 5'10", like 130 pounds or something like that. Skin and bones, and I definitely made some significant progress over the years. So I've been lifting seriously for the last 7 years, and I've been through countless trial and error periods. So I've really tried almost anything under the sun that you can think of when it comes to trying to get into shape, like fad diets and everything like that. Like I've made basically every mistake you can think of. Overtraining, Mike Mentzer style training, which if you don't know what that is, it's basically when you I think hit each muscle group like once every like 10 days or something like that and only do like 2 sets at a time. It's not really going to get the job done. I'm sorry. Fasting, it fits your macros, carb cycling, keto, you name it. Not that all of those things don't work. They do work for some people, but it's a very specific type of person that those things will work for. For example, if it fits your macros, that's actually not a bad approach. However, if it fits your macros to all of your food, then you're probably leaving some gains on the table if you're getting all your carbs from like cereal, brownies, chips, just random like bullshit, instead of doing like a mix between like whole foods and shit foods. So yeah, I basically tried all of those approaches. And this approach that I'm going to share with you today has worked for me, and it's working well for clients. So if you guys are struggling with, getting in shape, building muscle, losing fat or anything, this is going to be a very important video for you to listen to. So pay close attention. So how this approach can actually better your life? Well, as I mentioned earlier, you're not going to be spending 2+ hours a day in the gym while getting little to no results. And that's the thing. A lot of people will spend all this time in the gym and just look the same after year. And do you want to know why that is? It's because they're missing a couple key fundamentals when it comes to training. Or there's just other parts of their routine that are slacking, like diet and recovery and things. This is going to allow you to implement fitness into your current lifestyle instead of consuming your entire life. Obviously, everyone has lives outside of fitness, right? It's like you don't want to completely sacrifice everything you're doing just to get into shape. As I just mentioned, you want to sacrifice things you love to do just to get into the shape. You'll be able to get better results while spending less time in the gym because there's going to be more quality workouts. We're going to focus on quality workouts over quantity here. That's a fundamental thing you need to pay attention to. Better results equals better physique equals more confidence. Again, I can say from experience that when I was skinny fat, skin and bones, no muscle at all, my confidence was significantly lower than where it is now, or even where it was like a couple years ago. You won't have to worry about feeling self-conscious about when you take your shirt off in the summer. So maybe you and your friends go to the beach or something, or go to a pool or something. You don't have to be that guy with a what are those things called? Those t-shirts that people wear in the pools. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. But you'll be able to go shirtless in the pools or anywhere you're on vacation and not feel self-conscious about your gut. So again, a little side note, now is the perfect time to start because it is Easter actually, March 31st. So if you guys start dialing in your fitness right now, you will be able to get in great shape by summer. If you just stay consistent, the clock is definitely ticking for sure, but if you implement stuff right now and get everything dialed in and lock in for the next couple months, dude, this is the perfect time to start. All right, so why you're currently not seeing the results that you want? You don't have time to work out. Since most people don't understand how to be in and out of the gym in less than 45 minutes to an hour, a lot of people think you have to spend 2+ hours a day in the gym, and that's when people say I don't have time to work out, that's what they're referring to, right? Because I mean, I'm sure anyone can make time for 45 minutes 4 to 5 times a week. That's a very small ask. But 2 hours a day, 2+ hours a day, that's a pretty big ask, I'm not gonna lie. Don't have time to work out. That's can be a valid reason unless you're applying this approach. So lack of accountability and guidance. Some people just aren't able to stay consistent with their routine just because they don't have that someone to like tell them to get off their ass and to make sure they're doing the right things in the gym, make sure they're eating the right foods, things like that. Not training hard enough. So I'm gonna go over what kind of that means in a minute here, but essentially you're just training like a pussy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, people just train like pussies. I don't know what to tell you. Not optimizing your workouts through progressive overload. This is a big one too. Some people just go into the gym, do the exact same thing for months on end, and then they're doing the exact same thing. So how do you expect to look different, right? Does that make sense? Like, if your workouts aren't progressing, how do you expect your physique to progress, right? So too much random fluff work. So you're in the gym just doing all this random bullshit, just trying to get a pump, not really focusing on progressive overload, just kind of in there just to be in there, which, don't get me wrong, is better than nothing, but there's definitely better ways to go about it. Inconsistency due to unsustainability. So that kind of goes back to people thinking that they have to make huge sacrifices in order to get into shape. That is not the case. So it's hard to stay consistent when you're constantly making these massive sacrifices in your life, and it just makes it an unsustainable practice. Because if working out was sustainable, you'd be able to be consistent. That's very simple. Not taking your fitness as seriously as you should, therefore not working towards your greatest potential. So some people just don't care. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're one of those people who just don't care, like don't care about your health, don't care about your fitness, I suggest you just click off this video, because I can't help you. If you don't want to help yourself, then I can't help you. Shit diet. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. That's 90% of Americans. I'm in America, so I can say that. So that's 90% of Americans have a shit diet. I've seen it all the time. I just walk around and everyone's just walking around with a fucking hot dog and Coke, and I don't know, man. Just not giving a shit, really. Lack of sleep and poor recovery modalities. So going out drinking every weekend, using stimulants too late, too close to bedtime, spending all this time on your phone before bed, things like that. Workout program. So let's get into the actual like nuts and bolts of this video here. So it's going to be 5 sessions per week, lasting 45 minutes to an hour. So if you do the math on that, what is that? 4 to 6 hours a week, roughly? I mean, I'm sure anyone can make time for that. And if you have 2 of the sessions land on weekends, when people generally have more time to spare on the weekends, then that's only 3 days a week where you're working out during the weekday. And I'm sure anyone can make that work. I mean, at least I would hope so. Unless, if not, then probably need some better time management skills. I'm not going to lie. So start with compound lifts, then move to isolations. Unless you're doing some sort of pre-exhaustion, which may be warranted if you have a hard time feeling a certain muscle activate during a compound lift. I know for me, I like to do chest flies before I do like any compound movements for chest, just because it just helps me build that mind muscle connection even more. Yeah, I'm not using as much weight on the compound lifts, but at the end of the day, that's not as important as you actually feeling the movement as you're doing it. So after warming up, obviously you want to make sure you do a warm up. You don't want to hurt yourself. Do 2 to 3 intense working sets with compound movements going to failure. Remember how I was saying a lot of people train to like pussies? It's because they're not training anywhere close to failure. They're doing like, I don't know, 5 reps in reserve. Like, why, if you can do 15 reps on a weight, why would you stop at 10? It doesn't make sense to me. How do you expect to stimulate muscle growth if you're half-assing your sets? So rep ranges between 8 and 15, focusing on a mind-muscle connection and full range of motion. Again, doesn't matter how much weight you're doing. As long as the mind-muscle connection is there, you're getting a full range of motion and training to failure and hitting somewhere in between that rep range. I mean, I think you're pretty much checking most of the boxes, I would say. Proper form is essential, but again, don't be afraid to do some cheat reps at the end of your set just for some additional intensity. So what I mean by this is, obviously you want to make sure you do as many good reps as you can. But say if you, I don't know, say you do like 10 good reps, don't be afraid to do like 3 cheat reps just to increase the intensity a bit. I know that's what I do, and that's what I tell other people to do as well, and it seems to work pretty great. Especially when the volume is so low, you really want to make sure the intensity is turned up. So 1 to 2 compound movements per muscle group, followed by 2 to 3 sets of isolation work. It can be the same exercise or split up. What I mean by that is that you can, let's just say, I don't know, fucking shoulders. You can do like 2 sets of dumbbell lateral raises and then like 1 set of upright rows. So then you get 3 sets. Or you can do 1 of each. But just make sure it's somewhere between 2 and 3 sets of isolation work, going to failure, of course. All right, so the split in the program outline here. Workout number 1, chest, shoulders, and abs. Workout number 2, back, traps, and rear delts. Workout 3, arms and abs. Workout 4, legs. So you can get great results by hitting each muscle group once a week. I know there's going to be like people in the comments saying, oh, but this study says you can hit each muscle group 2 to 3 times a week and get even better results. Yes, you can. However, Do you know how much more time that's going to take? You're probably going to have to be in the gym like 6 times a week, maybe even every day. You can still get great results by hitting each muscle group once a week. What we're focused on here is implementing the gym into your current lifestyle, right? So if that means just hitting one muscle group a week and getting good results, then and making it a sustainable process, then that's what we're focused on here. Sure, you can hit each muscle group twice a week and go to the gym 6 times a week or 7 times a week and maybe see like slightly better results, but so how much more sustainable is that? Well, it's not actually. It's way less sustainable, so people aren't going to stick with it. So that's why I emphasize hitting each muscle group once a week. So hopefully that makes sense, because I know people in the comments are going to say like some bullshit like that, which by all means, leave that comment. Hopefully you understand where I'm coming from though. So stick with 1 to 2 compound lifts per muscle group, ideally ones that you can feel and get a good mind-muscle connection on. Let's go through an example workout here. So for example of workout 1. So let's say you go into incline Smith machine bench, 2 to 3 sets, 8 to 12 reps, or you can do like 8 to 15, something like that. Just somewhere in that rep range. And then dumbbell shoulder press. So 2 to 3 sets, 8 to 12 reps again. Chest fly of choice, 2 to 3 sets, 10 to 15 reps. Dumbbell lateral raises, 2 to 3 sets, 10 to 15 reps. You can sort of interchange these exercises. Like if you want to hit chest, and then shoulders, you could by all means switch 2 and 3. As long as you're doing at least some sort of compound first, that's really the fundamental key here. But yeah, and then for abs, just do some leg raises. You don't need to do a whole lot for abs. You're hitting abs pretty much in all of your other exercises. You don't have to go too crazy with hitting abs. I know I used to go way too crazy back in the day hitting abs, but it's really not that necessary. So yeah, throw in a short warm up, but maybe just walk a couple, like 10 or probably like 7 to 8 minutes on the treadmill, and you can get in and out of the gym in less than an hour. So if you just implement this 5 times a week, dude, it's a very easy process. Like it's so simple. But you have to remember that this low of volume will only be effective assuming the intensity is there. See, if you're stopping like 3-4 reps shy of failure, then you're not really going to get much out of it. Okay? You have to make sure you're going to failure on these working sets and giving every set your maximum effort. That's what's going to give you great results and make your workouts very quick and effective. So progressive overload, stick with the weight that you can hit. Stick with the weight until you can hit outside of that rep range, and then increase the weight by 5 pounds. So even use 2.5 pound plates. I still do this, even on squats, where if you increase the weight by like 5 pounds on squats, you're really not going to feel much, right? But it adds up over a long period of time. So don't increase too quick, because it will increase your chance of injury, and obviously we don't want injury. So let's say, for example, you hit 185 on incline Smith bench for 13 reps. Next exercise, or next workout, you want to increase it to 190, right? And then so let's say on that next workout, you only get 11 with 190. Then stick with that weight until you can get like 12 or 13 reps, then increase it. And this same progressive overload concept applies to isolation movements as well. So this is my favorite way, and what I tell everyone else to do when it comes to progressive overload. So I definitely recommend you do the same thing. So nutrition. I'm gonna be pretty brief on this video, because this video is mostly focused on maximizing efficiency in the gym, and I've made a bunch of other videos on nutrition. Especially, I think I made one with getting in shape without giving up your favorite foods. I suggest you go watch that video. I can link it down in the description if you guys want to go watch that after this. But kind of the gist of it is that you just got to make sure you're getting around 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. That's usually a general pretty good rule of thumb there. Stay hydrated throughout the day. If your goal is to strictly build muscle, go into a 200 to 300 calorie surplus and focus on muscle building, and then a 200 to 300 calorie deficit if you want to lose fat. So you make sure you want to commit to one of those goals for at least a couple months. So track your calories and your macros, and get a majority of your food from whole foods. So again, kind of going back to my if it fits your macros concept from earlier. Again, make sure you're getting a majority of your food from whole foods, and not like getting all your carbs from like cereal and brownies and shit. You can do like a mix of both. So summary. So cut out all the unnecessary fluff work at the gym and only focus on the movements that are going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. Again, stop going to the gym for 2+ hours doing all these weird dynamic stretches, fucking doing 20 sets of like random isolation movements of just 10 reps. I don't know. whatever people do these days. I'm not paying attention. Actually, I kind of am, but keep the volume pretty low, but as the intensity has to be as high as possible. Again, if the volume is going to be low, as I'm talking about in this video, the intensity has to be there. Compound movements first, followed by isolation movements, focusing on form and mind-muscle connection. Unless you're using a pre-exhaustion technique, as I mentioned earlier, which I actually still use to this day, that's kind of up to you to decide. You have to use your own judgment through your own experience to decide whether or not that's a good choice for you to make. Training to failure and utilizing progressive overload. So utilizing that progressive overload strategy I just talked about earlier. Eating high protein with a majority of your diet coming from whole foods to support your training. So if you're eating shit food, your training's probably going to be shit. But if you're eating healthy whole foods, a majority of your diet's coming from healthy whole foods, your training is going to be significantly better and you're going to be much happier with your results. So that is it for this video, guys. The reason I made this video is because I see so many people say they don't have time to work out, and it just kind of baffles me because I don't know, maybe it's just because it's second nature to me that you can get away with spending so little time in the gym than compared to what people think. And if anyone wants to look into potentially getting coached by me or working with me in general, then there's a calendar link in the description so you can book a call with me and then we can see if you're a good fit for the team. Don't book a call unless you're actually motivated and actually really want to better yourself and get into shape. Because I've had some people book calls just to, I don't know, kind of waste time, not gonna lie. So if you're serious and you actually want to get in great shape, then book a call down below. If you just want some general advice or questions, you can leave it down in the comments, or you can hit me up on Instagram, which is in the description as well. I reply to everyone. So yeah, I will see you in the next one.